Yo, what's up guys, it's Lun-Gi. So today we're going to be taking a look at a pure Nekroz deck profile. So Nekroz got new support in Terminal World 2 and yeah, the support is really good for the deck. It gives the deck an actual starter. So it's got two starters. It's got Avance and then it also has Amelia. So Avance special summons a non-ritual Nekroz straight from your deck, and then Amelia, it searches on special summon or normal summon. It searches your Nekroz spell cards or a Nekroz ritual monster. So both of those monsters are very good. And then it also got a new ritual monster, Saphira, I think it's called. No, it's Metaltron. Who can basically like banish one card on each field during your turn and during your opponent's turn. So it banishes itself and then it can come back, but the opponent's monster doesn't come back. But we're not playing that card in this build because we're trying to like make the deck as consistent as possible. So ritual monsters, most of them don't really do anything in your hand to help you like move forward with your combos. So most of them are like at 1 copy, or some of the others at like 0 copies, because you don't want to be breaking on your ritual spell cards and the ritual monsters, because the ritual spell cards also require you to they've got a couple of restrictions which really messes with your consistency sometimes. So yeah, you just want to make sure the deck is as consistent as possible. So we're just going to start with the 1-card combo with Avance. Avance is a lot stronger in like rank 4 decks like Ryzeal and also like Shock. There's like a water shock deck that I made with Avance and surfacing big jaws. The deck is like really strong. If nothing is like hits, which I doubt, by the time the Nekroz cards come out in the TCG, then that is a deck profile that I'll also be showing you guys, because it's a completely like my creation that I made up, just like a couple of other like decks as well on my creation. But anyways, let's take a look at the 1-card combo. So normal summon Avance, and then you use his effect to special summon Amelia. Alright, so Amelia will trigger, and then you will search for you can search for Bryonic here. So you can search straight for a red bear, but you typically want to have a Bryonic in your graveyard, because then you can turn on Amelia's special summon ability. It also works with a red bear, but typically you have him banished so you can special summon him back. So we'll just add Bryonic, and then we'll discard him, and then we'll add a red bear. Alright, so we'll add a red bear, and then we'll use his effect. So we'll discard him for cost, and then we'll tribute Amelia, and then we will send Divine Mirror to the graveyard. Next, Divine Mirror is different. So it's a quickly spell card and not a ritual spell card. So you can banish itself and a Nekroz monster in your graveyard, and then you can add any Nekroz spell card. So it can even add another copy of itself, which is really nice for this deck. So you use its effect, so you'll banish itself, and then you'll banish Bryonic, and then you will search for Nekroz Cycle. So you search for Nekroz Cycle, and you activate Cycle. So Avant and Amelia can be used as entire tributes when they're on the field. So you can just tribute Avance, and then you can summon a red bear. And then Avance will trigger, and then you'll add back Bryonic and your Divine Mirror. So this is the typical like 1-card combo. It gives you some follow-up with Bryonic, and then a red bear can either tribute himself or any other monster that you have in your hand to pay for cost. So I've been trying to work in like using Ben 10 in the deck, because Ben 10's ability to search after being tributed is really useful for this deck specifically, because it does kind of struggle with resource management. So once I figure out a good build for like Ben 10 in Nekroz, then I'll be sharing that deck profile as well. Because if you had Ben 10, you could just tribute for cost for a red bear, and then you'll trigger Ben 10's effect, and then you'll be able to search for fairy monster, which would be really nice synergy for the deck. But otherwise, you have your Divine Mirror, and then you've got your Bryonic as well, and then also in the graveyard you have your Cycle. So if you decide to pay to tribute a red bear to pay for cost, your field is empty for the next turn. So what you can do is you can banish. On the next turn, you banish Cycle and the red bear, and then you will add basically anything. But for maximum value, Kaleidoscope, add Kaleidoscope, and then you can discard Bionic, and then you can add Advance, right? So when you normal summon Advance, and then you try to use this effect, if they target Advance with a card effect, then you can just chain Divine Mirror, and then you can tribute Advance, and then you can summon a Red Bear from Banishment. So Advance will resolve, and then you will special summon Amelia from the deck. You summon Amelia from the deck, and then you will trigger Amelia's effect. So Amelia will add Unicore. So you add Unicore, then you can activate Kaleidoscope, send Herald, special summon Unicore, and then next you will trigger Herald's effect, and then you can search for another Unicore. So then you can discard Unicore, add Amelia to your hand. So you have a warrior type Nekroz ritual monster in the graveyard and one on the field, so either or is fine. Then you can special summon Amelia, and then since we didn't use Divine Mirror, we can simply just banish Unicore, and then we can add Nekroz. We can just add another Divine Mirror, and then now this is enough for OTK. So we overlay, we go for Dugatis effect, double a Red Bear's attack, so now he's on 6/6. This is a spell card, so we just discard it, and then we can go for Utopic. So when he attacks over something, he attacks directly. So yeah, this is basically GG. 6/6, 1/6, and then he can attack twice if there are monsters on the field, and that is basically game. Yeah, it's over it's over 10,000 damage, over 11 if they have like another monster like in attack mode or something, because then he'll do over 3k damage himself. So yeah, that is how you OTK on the follow-up. So the follow-up is actually much like stronger than the initial like one card play, which is really nice, combined with all the cards that you have from the drawing for turn, and also the 4 other cards that you opened in your opening hand. So pretty decent one card combo. Next I'll show you a one card combo with Nadir's Servant. So you activate Nadir's Servant, and then you will dump Garura, and you will add Dogmatica Maximus, and then Garura's effect will trigger, and then you will draw a card. Then you'll special summon Maximus, banishing Garura. Then you'll use its on-field effect to send Herald of the Arclight and Frigid. So chaining 1 Herald, chaining 2 Frigid. Frigid will allow you to draw a card, and then you can put one at the bottom of your deck from your hand. And then Herald of the Arclight will search for Bionic's effect. So here we'll just go for the usual Advance into Amelia, into a Red Bear. Use his effect, tribute Amelia, send Divine Mirror, banish Bionic, Divine Mirror, add Cycle, tribute Advance, summon back the Red Bear, trigger Advance effect in the graveyard, and add back your Bionic and your Divine Mirror. So this one card combo is a bit stronger, allowing you to draw 1 free card, and then also like draw another one and like recycle 1 card from your hand, on top of having like your usual follow-up. And if they can't beat Maximus, then you can trigger its effect next turn, sending like another Herald and like enters to destroy something. So they basically have to answer Maximus. And depending on what your opponent sends to the graveyard with Maximus, you also get some knowledge about their deck. So yeah, this one card combo is a bit stronger than the other one. Now let's take a look at a quick random hand. So Nekroz is one of those decks where it's very hard to like practice like 1 and like 2 card combos, because a lot of what you do is dependent on like what cards you draw in your hand. But typically you want to end on like Unicore and like a Red Bear, and being able to trish your opponent on their turn. Alright, so let's take a look at a random hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, alright, so here's a random hand. So this is nice because you have your shirt in here, and you also have your Foolish Burial card, extra Foolish Burial I think it's called. Right, so over here we also have like Call by the Grave, so we'd rather just save that for Drolin Lockbird. So if Advance gets ashed, we just leave it because we can extend anyways, it's fine. Yeah, we'll just save it for like Drolin Lockbird. So you'll just start with Advance. If Advance gets impermed, and then if they ash your Herald, then you have to Call by the Grave, because otherwise that'll end your turn. So Advance effect, Amelia effect. So here we'll go for a Red Bear. It's the best card to combine with Shirt, so we go for a Red Bear. So Red Bear's effect, tribute Shirt, and send Divine Mirror. So Shirt will trigger, and then we can add Bionic, So adding Bionic is a bit more flexible because you can decide what you want to search like later on in case your opponent has like other like forms of interaction. So we banish with Divine Mirror, we banish Arid Bear, and then we can add Nekroz Mirror, Bionic's effect, add Unicore, activate Extra Foolish, dump Herald's effect, add Valk, oh not Valk, add Kaleidoscope, send another Herald, special summon Unicorn, and then you use your Herald to add Valkyrus. Then we can overlay these two into Nyala, and we can detach both of them and attach Herald as material. Then we'll just link this away to Gravity Controller, trigger the Herald again, and now we can add Trishula. So next we can activate our mirror, and then we can banish Emilia and Unicore. Special summon Valkyrus. And then we'll use Valk's effect to tribute these two, and we will draw 2 cards. 1, 2. Then we will trigger Avance's effect, and we will add these 4 cards back to our hand. And then we can special summon Emilia. Last thing we can do is we can activate Unicore's effect to add shirts to our hands, and then we can combine Emilia and Valk. I summon Dynamondo, and then since we didn't ritual summon with this card, we'll use its effect, and then we can summon Arid Bear from hand. We can sack the Shuret. Right, then we can end our turn. We can't set Call by the Grave because we did activate the Foolish Burial, but it's all good. Yeah, we've got like tons of graveyard set up over here. And on top of that, we can actually use Dynamondo's effect to revive the Unicorn, right? Because we did summon Unicorn properly. Yeah, we did summon Unicorn properly, so we can revive Unicorn. Or we could sack this and then summon it back again with Dynamondo. And then next turn, we do have some follow-up with Emilia as well. So yeah, being able to just tribute Dynamondo and then summoning back the Unicorn is really good because you can choose when you want to negate something. And then next turn you can just go for the Dugaris OTK featuring a Red Bear. Now let's take a look at the deck profile. So 3 copies of Avance. It's your main starter card. It's the best card in the deck as well. So 3 copies of him, 3 copies of Emilia, and then only 1 copy of Shuret. Shuret does nothing on his own. He's very nice to have, but there's tons of ways of actually getting to Shuret. So you don't need to play more than 1 copy. I tested out more copies, but it was really clunky, especially with like the ritual spell cards. If you didn't have a ritual monster, you have Shuret ritual spell card and then no ritual monster, then you can't do anything. So you want to minimize those really bad hands. So only 1 Shuret, and then 1 Dogmatica Maximus. Maybe should be playing Almirage in the extra deck to normal summon like Hand Trap, so you can summon this if you like. If you just draw it, but I don't think it's that necessary because we got a number of ways of putting extra deck monsters in the graveyard thanks to some extra engines in the deck. So don't think it's that necessary. Hasn't really come up. Then the ritual monsters, 1 Clausulus. Only need 1. In the OCG, a lot of people are playing like 3 copies of Clausulus because of like Maxi. If you get like Maxi to something or Malcharmy, then summoning Clausulus. Because yeah, with Clausulus you just need himself and then like fodder. So himself and then 1 of these. If you normal summon him and then you get stopped, Clausulus is basically like the only, not the only like kind of play you have, but like he's the, besides obviously Bionic, he's the only ritual monster that can actually help you do something. But that something is just summoning Clausulus in defense mode, and for me that's not good enough to be playing like 3 copies of him. Yeah, so only one Clausulus. Triple Unicore. Some people in the OCG only play 1. I don't see the point of that. Unicore, you want to open Unicore with Kaleidoscope to turn on your engine. You just need more ways to like turn on your engine, and also it allows you to recover any of your Nekroz cards in the graveyard. So in your hand, Unicore can be like in the mid game is basically any Nekroz card that you need in the graveyard, which is super valuable. 3 copies of Bionic. Obviously it's the searcher, and also he's really nice to summon because you can shuffle back two extra deck monsters on the field. That's including your own ones if you want to, but he allows you to basically easily clear Raziel fields along with like Unicore. 1 Valk is very useful for like digging through your deck. You really want to be seeing more cards in your hand. So sometimes you'll do a basic play of summoning Volk so you can dig for extra cards, and so you can also use your ritual spell cards in the graveyard, adding more of them, allowing you to do more plays. Also against a deck like Tenpai, he can just end the battle phase. As soon as they attack, you can just discard him and banish a Nekroz card in your graveyard, and then you can end the battle phase. So that's even if you have like monsters on the field. So it's some nice defense. One copy of Trish and one Red Bear. I've tested more copies of Red Bear, but it kind of requires you to play more copies of like Shuritt like Nekroz monsters, and those monsters do absolutely nothing on their own. Just too clunky, so only one copy of him as well. And then for the hand traps, 3 Ash, 2 Max, 1 Nib. Kind of standard in my decks, this lineup, until they decide to ban Maxi. I don't know how long that's gonna take, but yeah, fingers crossed. And then for the spell cards, 3 Prep of Rights. It can be any card, basically any Nekroz card in your deck. Nekroz Prep of Rights can be also allowing you to recover ritual spell cards in the graveyard. Excellent card. Then Dogmatic Engine, 3 copies of Nadir Servant. You don't care about the extra deck lock, so yeah, and you can also get back your Maximus from the grave. Extremely good for consistency. 3, I think it's called Extra Foolish Burial. 3 of this card, also nice. If your advance gets stopped, then you've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 ways of continuing with your plays. And also you've got like 2 hand trap stoppers, Call by the Grave. So this build of Nekroz, you can easily like play through disruptions because of like how many like engine cards you're playing. And then for the ritual spell cards, 3 copies of Kaleidoscope. Kaleidoscope is the one you want to open with Unicore. Turns on your engine, also gives you a floodgate in Unicore. So 3 copies of it. Definitely the best one, because I evaluate the Nekroz spell cards in the deck based on how many other cards you need to have in your hand to be able to resolve it, and how many plays you have to do in order to resolve it. And Kaleidoscope, it's the easiest one to resolve. If you have Unicore in your hand, or even Bryonic, you can just send from the extra, and then you can summon it, and then it turns on your engine. So yeah, that's how I decide how many copies to actually play. 2 copies of Divine Mirror. It's very nice, but because you can actually add 1 back after you like banish it, you don't need 3 copies. 3 copies is nice, but it can be kind of clunky with all your ritual spell cards. So 2 copies is the sweet spot. It is like technically the best one in terms of like utility, because you can use it if you have monsters on the field, but it does not move your engine forward. So two copies of it are enough. 1 copy of Mirror, and then 1 copy of Cycle. A lot of people in the OCG don't play this one, which is insanity. It allows you to banish Nekroz monsters from the graveyard, basically fueling Advance's effect. Moreover, when you have Shuritt in the graveyard, you can summon any of your Nekroz ritual monsters with it. Again, like once you're set up, then all you need is just it and your ritual monster, and then you can like resolve it, which is great utility in the mid game. So very valuable to have it. And then Cycle, obviously, it's kind of the worst one in my opinion, because like you can summon from the graveyard, but you can't, like, you need to have monsters that have like equivalent levels. So if you want to summon a level 6 from the graveyard, then you need like 6 levels of stuff, unless you have like Shuritt, or unless you have these on the field. So yeah, it's the worst one in my opinion and in my experience. Not that it's bad, but it's just not as good as the others. And then the last cards, 2 copies of Call by the Grave. So this is 42 cards, kind of difficult to lower it to 40. Yeah, 42 cards is like the sweet spot, especially with like the extra engine that you're playing in the deck to help the deck's consistency. No impermanence this time. Decided to play like engine instead of like impermanence. So this card can be kind of an impermanence. Don't really have space for aggregator. Yeah, it was difficult to try and find space for aggregator. But you can just use this to dump Entus, and then you can pop a card. So yeah, it can have that utility as well. And also it can turn on your engine by dumping Herald. So it's got more utility than something like infinite impermanence. But those other like cards can be in the side deck if you really need them for specific matchups. So this card and Nadir Servant can double up as like non-engine kind of like removal, but also like engine cards, being able to turn on your Nekroz engine. So yeah, that's why I decided to play this. And no shifter in the main, because it contradicts these cards and kaleidoscopes. It's kaleidoscope, so that's not good. So no shifter in the main. If you get shifters, it's still fine, because you can still, you know, do your advance thing. So yeah, getting shifted is like preferable to you actually activating your own shifter, because you go -1. So yeah, that is the main deck. Now for the extra deck. One Nyala, just for some of your plays, being able to attach heralds from the graveyard. One Dugades for OTKs, mostly. One Dweller, one Exiton, one Utopic for OTKs, one Typhon. You don't really care so much about the special summon lock, because you can special summon on your opponent's turn, and you can get back your big monsters anyways. One copy of Zeus. You can go into Zeus by going rank 4, Utopic Zeus for a 4 material Zeus. It's very useful utility in the deck, because the deck does have some issue with like removing like tons of cards on the field. One Entus as a target for Kaleidoscope and your Nadir Servant and your Foolish Burial. One Garura, same reasoning. Gravity Controller, just to remove this from the extra monster zone for your plays. One Frigid for your Dogmatica plays. One Espilon Knight. One copy of Dynamondo. Some Nekroz players play 2. I don't see a point in that. I rarely ever go into Dynamondo unless I have to go into him. And then the last 2 cards, 2 copies of Herald of the Arclight. And that is the extra deck. There are some, I guess, some flex slots, but these have like the best like rank 4 like utility. Baguska, you don't really need Baguska in this deck. Baguska, I almost never summon Baguska in this deck, because summoning Unicore is kind of better in a lot of like circumstances, because they can, you know, use a link monster to remove Baguska. So yeah, Baguska is something you can add, but it has not come up for me. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Peace.